I feel we've connected over the last couple of years, and you're the man I can talk to about this kind of stuff, and I'm just losing my mojo about all of it. I mean, you are the guy. You're just my best pal, and we can go running together, and you can help me. I mean, what should we do? This is show 12 now. What should we do? That's why I can always rely on you. Welcome to show 12. It's the last one.
Oh, it's so sad.
We started in the beach and now we're here, stuck here. There was no guests.
Did we
left.
downgrade or upgrade?
Well, I don't know because I couldn't get any guests. So I've had to go with these two guys. I mean, you know.
Don't say that they're here.
Oh, are they? Okay. Well, look what we've got. We've got the wonderful Brian Frasier-Moore, who's joined us, who's over in the UK at the moment, touring with some new acts. Justin Timberlake or something, a new guy on the scene, is he?
Like that, yeah.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Apparently he's going to be big.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going to be the next big thing.
Is he? This is what they're saying, is
he
it?
has a huge future, I don't know.
And we've also got Smiley. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for joining us for our last show. I know you're a fan of the show, aren't you, Smiley?
I'm a massive fan, yeah. Monday nights.
Monday night.
I wait till it comes up. Yeah.
Well, is this instead of like EastEnders?
Oh, absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
The wife watches EastEnders. I watch the Mike Darwin
Of course.
show.
There you go. Well, listen, we've got to start with a very, very serious, hard-hitting story.
We have to.
We have to.
We want to right straight for
There's
it.
been lots going on in the UK at the moment. You probably would be aware of this, but we've got major scandal in English football. Okay, proper football. You call it soccer. It's football. The England managers had to go. So we've got to start with a big hitting question. Why are you called Smiley?
Oh, that big earth-shattering question.
It's in The Guardian. We want to know.
Do you know, I so need to find a great showbiz answer for that, but there isn't one. It was something 20, 25 years ago where there was a group of us, all musicians, and somebody allegedly said, you know, Steve, drummer Steve, Smiley Steve, which then went to Smiley, and then I just kind of stuck with it, and it just stuck, and I've had to have this inane grin on my face for the last 25 years.
It's 25 years. Does anyone know your real name? Do your kids answer to you?
My mum
they call you
calls me. My mum calls me my real name, and my wife, bless her, when she introduces me, she always kind of pauses and decides who we're with. And if it's a kind of, she'll just go, "Oh, this is Smiley." But if it's kind of posh people, she go, "This is Steve." And I look at it and go,
At what stage does she call you the old git then?
"Oh, every day, yeah."
Okay, well, thank you for clearing that up. So now we know why he's called Smiley. Okay, didn't even know his name was Steve. Brian, so let's talk about. I saw you last year with Madonna, touring with Madonna, and you got a pretty good CV. But one of the questions I want to talk to you about is that with the artists that you're touring with, obviously the way the music industry is now, a lot of these artists are recording electric drums, okay, and you seem to have got that reputation for, number one, doing these huge tours, and number two, reproducing those albums. So my question is, how do you think that came about, and how much work goes into trying to reproduce those albums live on stage?
That's a great question. So I think before Madonna, before anything, Janet Jackson was the first gig that I had. The Jimmy Jam came to me after rehearsal and gave me the CD and said, "Oh, here, Brian, here's the song, here's the sounds to all the songs." I had no idea how to distribute them. The sound guys are telling me they need it separate, you know, which puts you out of a SPDS X type of situation. So back then, I learned how to use the Drumcat and Kaisi 8, which has 8 outs, 8 separate outs. So that's been my thing ever since. So when Madonna came into play, and it was a big fight with her to trying to get her to have acoustic drums. My first day, I came in and she said, "Oh, you play real drums?" Because I had and Steve Sadownik, you know, he was there before. He had an all-electric kit.
Yeah.
So this was my battle when I first came in the door, was to try to trigger as many things as possible on this kit to try to win her over back to an acoustic side. So that was the approach that I took with that, triggering all the snares, triggering all the kicks, having electric kicks so she doesn't have to hear the kick drum. She's very particular about that and stuff like that. So I just really dove into what I already had been working on in previous years with other artists, and just turned it up for her.
Do you prefer the acoustic kit
Absolutely.
to look at visually and?
It looks so much better as well.
It looks so much better, and I'm from church, man. I'm a church guy, so you know
Yeah.
that's in our blood, you know, to play acoustic drums. So
How hard was it to convince her?
Very.
Was it because of the visuals or because of the sounds?
Just the sound.
Okay.
You know, we would. It was tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough. But she was very open, and she allowed me to experiment with the acoustic drums and the triggers and all of that. And she's, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, well, unfortunately as well, on a lot. I mean, you do some producing as well, but a lot of those albums, it's not the same snare sounds for the whole of the song. Let alone, so I mean, they, you know, sometimes you can hear 10, 15 different snare sounds. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
I think as well, sometimes, look, when I go out with Archive, they have so much electronica in their stuff, but the way they do it is when we go out live, they kind of add live drums. Do you know what I mean? So they'll still have so many things going on, but the live drums are like an added feature over the top. So I'll maybe take what I played on the album, which is not necessarily at the front of the track, but then live it will be pushed forward with these big acoustic drums over the top of the electronica, and that's the way they work, and that's great because that's a real kind of thumbs up for the drummer, really. You know, the drummer wins, you know, and it adds something to the live show. So that's how we do it, you know.
That approach is more of what I do on Justin.
Yeah.
Because for now, I do triggers on every gig that I do. Even if there's just a kick drum and it's a natural kick sound, I have this sound called Old Faithful that me and my tech put in, just to give it the same body as all of the other sounds, you know, so it doesn't come through super thin in front of the house. So with Justin, I take the sounds, but then there's the real element of a player,
Of course.
you know, playing the show.
Yeah.
Just happen to have the sounds instead of the drummer play those sounds, and that's it. So.
But you've been with Justin for you did the last tour with Justin anyway, didn't you? I think you've done a couple with
the 2020.
Yeah.
And I did a tour, Australian run before, but this is like my first tour with him. So 2020.
But you didn't have to convince Justin, I guess, did you? Because obviously he likes that.
Yeah, coming into that situation was different because the previous drummer didn't use triggers. So me coming in, taking the sounds, taking on that responsibility, and still being able to give a live-ish feel to it. He loved it.
Yeah.
He's a drummer, isn't he?
He can play drums.
I hope he doesn't watch this now.
Right. Oh yeah, he's oh man, he's killing, man. Oh, he's amazing.
But they are. But the thing is, like he is, like Justin Bieber's an amazing drummer. Have you seen him play?
Yeah.
And Prince.
Yeah.
Like
Stevie Wonder and all those.
I remember Simon Jay's telling me a great story about Prince, very, very quick one, that when he was touring with Prince and John Blackwell was playing, and he was standing next to John Blackwell, and Prince came over and, excuse me, sorry, I just want to, John, there's a new groove I want you to try, and John Blackwell was doing this, he just said, watch this. He went, do you mind showing me, Prince? He goes, oh yeah, sure. He said he just put the most incredible thing, went, there you go, thanks, John.
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently he said, Simon said he was the best drummer he ever saw. And you know, these artists, they're not stupid.
No,
There's a
they're
reason.
not.
They can play these things, and there's a reason.
Yeah.
You know.
But then you say that, I think going back to what both of you do, that we as drummers have had to up our game as well. You know, we have a lot more of an understanding about music, business, electronics, producing, you know, because I think we have, you know, and I guess these musicians are the same. They have to know now, don't you? You need to know. I don't know, it's like 40 years ago, but I'm sure it was a completely different. Although saying that, people like McCartney played drums on some of the Beatles songs. I mean, Abel Boyle, I think back in the USSR, said he was struggling, and Paul McCartney kept turning around and saying, you know, it doesn't feel right. And Abe was like, yeah, man, but the best drummer in the world played the original.
Right.
And of course, he knew it was Paul McCartney, but it's like, oh, just play it how you want to play it. That's cool.
What an amazing response, right there. That's an incredible response.
Jill.
So I've got one for Smiley.
Okay.
And
Smiley, Steve.
and it's not to do with your name. We already answered that question.
Okay.
I want to talk about the diversity of everyone you've played with and how you adjust, because you've played with people like The Alarm, Hard Five, Lily Allen, Sia, Sham 69, and even Robbie Williams' first album you played on, went on tour with him. How do you adjust and keep yourself diverse with that many different people?
It's what makes it so fascinating, really, because I have always gone from kind of the extreme. So Robbie was probably my big first kind of, you know, public gig where everybody's aware of the drummer, you know, because obviously we all know that in the drumming world you're kind of famous for who you're playing behind, really, you know, and that kind of brings you into the forefront. So the Robbie thing was crazy because I just got kind of parachuted into this showbiz world, and it was just wow, you know, it was unbelievable. And then I went from Robbie to Joe Strummer, which was even more diverse because it was this. There aren't many legends, really. If you go through life and you actually put it on the table and go, name a legend, you know, there aren't that many, really. Now Joe Strummer was a legend, so of course I was playing for this legend, and all these, you know, I'm playing America, and guys would come out and go, "Hey man, you play for Joe Strummer, man," and they've got to bow, and I go, please don't bow. It's slightly off-putting, you know. And I found that, you know, they assumed that you were as big a fan and you knew their back catalogue as well. These fans know everything.
Yeah, well, Americans are really good at that as well, I have to say.
Even British fans, so even kind of moving on to like when I joined the Alarm, these guys from 30 years ago, they know everything. They know every snare beat. And from the Jam for a while, so of course the Jam fans know everything about Bruce Foxton, and it's, you have to kind of become a fan to get inside the songs and then realise which bits are pivotal that you have to hit that particular part. Yeah. But then there's room for you to be able to be yourself. So I think getting inside the songs and becoming a fan is great as well. It opens up your mind and you know, and you've got to get to know them as people and listen to their stories and pretend you're really interested in them, you know. Well,
I think that's quite important though, sometimes, that you do need to know their personalities and their, you know, and there is those guys and girls that you love and have got so much respect for, and then there are those ones that
respect is a big word as well, because you have to respect what they've done, and you, I think sometimes the only problem I ever had was the kind of sycophanticness where people treated them in such a kind of you know, godlike manner. It was
people
like,
around them, you mean?
These are guys, the same as us, you know. But it's not. It's the music that these music has changed their lives. You know, the Clash changed people's lives. You know, the Jam, the Alarm, they all changed these people's how they are as people now. So to be lucky enough to be kind of part of that movement. You know, that's why I've got a great big smile on my face.
Well, I mean, to be honest...
That's how Smiley came about.
Yeah, well, there you go. But the Robbie, at the beginning, the first album, I mean, you know, because Robbie was that, I mean, at the beginning, being careful how I say this, but, you know, when he came out to take that, he was in a bit of a bad way, you know, we all know, and he reinvented himself.
But that was an interesting time, because I kind of got the job of being his buddy, if you will. You know, there was no showbiz parties. I went back to straight from the gig to his room, 2 glasses of water on a backgammon board. Because that was, he needed somebody with him. But what a great guy. What a talent. Again, we're talking about kind of Justin Timberlake and, you know, all these guys who are, he's mega talented, Robbie. Like, don't ever think that he just sits there and, you know, Guy Chambers. No. You know, I've watched him write. I've sat next to him and he's got so many ideas. And yeah, it was interesting.
Well, it was frustrating at 15 years old as well. I don't think anyone really understands. He was growing up in that spotlight, you know, in that manufactured, you know, and then for him to go out on his own.
It's nice to see him come out the other side now and be set. I saw him a couple of weeks ago actually, and he looks really well. He's married, he's got kids, he's you know, and I heard him on the radio yesterday, and I thought it's a different guy. He's himself. He's finally found
grown up
where he should be. And musically, he's a clever man.
You did a gig yesterday, didn't you?
I had a gig in Honour Review.
NFL, wasn't it?
NFL, yeah.
Are you a fan?
I am a fan.
Okay. I think by that response, he's a fan.
So,
I am a fan.
You know, what was the gig for?
Well, it was NFL Day, because there's a big match today at Wembley.
At Wembley,
right? Little tip for you: when you're doing an NFL show and someone says to you, "Are you a fan?" Don't just say yes because you think you're being polite.
Because you're going to be asking questions.
And I'm a football fan. I'm not an American football fan. So I said, "Oh, yeah, he's a fan. Ask him a few questions." And I was like, "What do you think?" Yeah, they should just go long. Really, go long. I think that'd be great. That was my input.
Who's playing?
I've no idea. Is there a Jaguars involved, something, or a Viking in it? I really don't know.
I'm just going to let this go for a little bit.
You're going to let him embarrass himself,
No,
aren't you?
I don't want to interrupt him, you know?
But who's your team?
By default, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, well, I've got a real issue with all my American friends. But when I'm in America, we can never say this, okay, although I do. But you're now on our ground, okay? Why are you calling it football? You use your hands most of the time. Come on.
Football and we have soccer in Australia.
Soccer? What's that all? I mean, come on.
Did you know that British actually invented the word soccer, not Americans?
Did they?
Yes, they did. So you tell me why you didn't keep it.
Well, when we were at the panel and we were sitting at the table and we were discussing this, and
if you see these American football guys, do you know what the simple answer is? You're not going to argue with them. Because these guys yesterday they were mountains.
Although when they watch English rugby,
well, yeah.
Then they're like, what?
Yeah.
There's no padding?
Yeah, that's the whole universal debate.
Why are their ears hanging off?
Real men.
Exactly. I'm like, yes, they're definitely real men, but try to go up against someone who's 6'9", 300 pounds, with pads on.
Okay, your talking point.
Yeah, so it's the final talking point for the season.
It better be good.
There.
Okay.
So talking point. I want to ask you both what what can you use to measure success as a drummer, and for you personally, how do you gauge your own success?
You definitely.
Well, too polite guy.
How about you do rock paper scissors?
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Come on, in again.
This is because we both play Pearl. We're tied in on so many levels.
Are you getting extra money or something for this if you mention them?
From respect, I have to let him go first.
Age before beauty. Do you know what? It's probably something really twee, but when I wake up on a Monday and I do the school run and I come back to the house, knowing that I'm a drummer that day, and I've still got that day is filled with things all drumming, and I look in the diary and I know that in the coming week I've got gigs, I've got sessions, I'm planning for a tour, and just knowing that is my life, to still be doing it after all these years, it does make me incredibly grateful, like more than anybody knows, and that's why I enjoy everything I do, because I know we're so lucky, aren't we? We really are, and to be playing with people who I've got so much respect for, and it's so diverse. Every week is different, every day is different, and I think I've kind of dived into the producing side and the writing side as well, and I've got so much more respect for what the drums bring to tracks, and I see it in such a different colour now than I did 10 years ago. The drums aren't the most important thing, but they are so. It's a skill to be able to, with that big musical jigsaw, that drumming piece. If you can fit that drumming piece into that jigsaw perfectly, you've done your job.
Absolutely.
Everything he's saying about kind of replicating these sounds, these sounds that are pivotal to these songs. Yeah. To be able to do that, and just wake up with a smile on your face as a drummer that's my long-winded edited version, which you'll probably
There's no editing on this show. You get it a little up. What about you, Brian?
No, I agree with what he's saying. For me, of course, I don't think I'm as successful as people peg me. So my success is viewed in a whole nother angle of helping. If I can help this person, if I can help this guy, if I can make sure he has his endorsement right, or make sure you don't make that mistake, and take that off of social media, and what are you doing, and this, then I feel success. I feel like I've helped, someone else on their journey. That makes me feel pretty successful. As far as drums and playing in my career, like you said, I'm totally grateful for what God has put on my plate, but it's just the way I grew up in church, it's not me, you know what I mean? God has given me this talent to be able to bless or touch or help or do whatever. So as long as I'm doing that, then that's probably the closest to successful that I feel.
Well, we've spent some time in cars and chatted about that. You are quite involved in contacting guys or other drummers.
My
Sometimes you
phone-
don't even know them.
My phone rings off the
Yeah, I know.
hook with this, but that's why I started the consultation
Yep.
consultation service, and that's what we do. We just get on the phone, and the guy says, one time, he says, man, I went to the studio, the engineer told me my drums sound terrible. I put my heart and soul in. So
Is this Steve Gadd?
I don't think anybody's ever said that to Steve Gadd.
Never, no.
Certainly not to his face.
No. But long story short, as long as I'm able to wake up and realize that I'm pursuing my dreams as a drummer, and I'm helping and I'm giving back and I'm making sure this is right, and it's just a whole ball that makes me feel happy and grateful, which I guess can be equivalent to success.
Okay, cool. Okay, the last show and tell of the season. Okay, so guys, I don't like that look.
I wanted to bring my dog. I thought it'd be really great.
Did you?
Well, I would.
Oh, hang on. It's not down there.
I was going to do it. I really thought it'd be a cool thing to do, and then I realised that it wasn't.
Okay, go on then, Smiley. What
Me?
you got? What's your show and tell?
I did think about this, and I walked around my studio, and I looked at all these kind of, treasured things, and, hey, that's all about me. And I suddenly thought, you know what? This isn't about me. I'm a little bit older now, right? And so my little bit of advice. This is going to be my little advice thing for the younger generation of drummers, right? And it's something really, really small. And it's this, okay? Now, I'm 48 now, okay? Any drummer who's kind of in your teens or in your 20s, this earplug is one of the most important things that you can have in your career as a drummer, right? You might not think it, and you go out and play in pubs and clubs and functions, whatever it is, and you think you don't need it. This will save your hearing in 20, 30 years' time, and it's something, when you put it in, just taking the top off it, the cymbal element or whatever, the sibilance or whatever it is, this will make you a happy man. Because most of the drummers of my age have got tinnitus or have got kind of slight, and that's because years of hitting drums and it's the cymbal. If you think where the level of the cymbal is, it's on your ear level. So my show and chair is earplugs, okay? And this, I say to all of you young drummers, wear these or in-ear monitors, and this will help you in the future.
Good, very good. Okay.
Absolutely.
Ryan.
I didn't want to interrupt you. My show and tell is right over there in that bag, and I didn't know what the best time was. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to interrupt her right now. It was just itching inside.
You got a bag endorsement, haven't you? You just want to bring the bag in.
James is now in our show. This is James.
So James,
I was gonna do like Aaron Spears and put a poopery out.
Nice.
But I decided not to. Okay, there's three things I wanted to share.
Oh, three things.
Okay, number one, why don't I just put this right here? I'm so sorry.
That's a very cool stick bag, by the way. Look at that.
Thank you.
Is that a stick bag?
No,
it's a bag. It's a handbag.
So, show and tell, BFM World signature drumsticks, okay? Those are my favorites. It's not really, it's just a show. And I'm so sorry about
So
this.
don't be sorry. I'm getting a little bit. Do you want a drum roll while you're emptying this bag? Dan,
All right.
Dan, Dan.
BFM Band Mob wristbands. BFM Band Mob wristbands.
Woo!
BFM.
Very much, man.
This is a mob that I put together of positivity.
Oh, wow.
All musicians and drummers coming together to help each other, positive purpose. So these bands are
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. A symbol of that.
And thank you for that as well.
You only got one?
yeah, I was going to say,
Take
do you want
some more.
I'm going to take a pair of those.
Okay, and then this is the last thing. I wanted to show and tell this. I'm a part of a company that is called Iora, all right? So we have virtual reality. We all know everyone has virtual reality, put the glasses on. But I have a documentary coming out in virtual reality, 360 degree. This is the camera.
Wow.
And we shot a 4-day documentary with this company called Iora, and it'll be in virtual reality. You can pick it up at home, put it on your glasses, and be there with me at the clinic, at the Rebel Heart show, the Madonna show. We recorded there, and we recorded some stuff just walking down the street, talking about life and family and stuff like that. So I wanted to share that as well.
Wow. Very good.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Just kind of, I feel like I've been trumped.
Oh, okay.
I tell you what, though,
This is the most important shit. No,
okay, now you said it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it's our little friend.
Well, yeah, we can do our 360. Well, we get little bobblehead in our 360 video now.
Well, we will do. There you go. Well, let's go. What's he got for us?
Yeah, where's Brett and Haynes? Brett and Haynes, last one.
Well, let's go see what he's got.
Hey, Mike and Jill, thanks again for having me on the show. So we're doing a hardware makeover today, and for those of you guys that aren't familiar with this, I'm going to go over it again. This is where drummers send me videos and pictures of their setup, and I choose one each time to remake in my own way using Gibraltar hardware, but I keep all their stuff the exact same. So this episode's drummer is Yann Herrera. So let's see what Yann's working with here. We've got a double bass set with 2 rack toms, 10 and 12 inch, and a 16-inch floor tom with a 14-inch snare. Now he's got a variety of cymbals, 4 crashes, a china, a ride, an auxiliary hi-hat, a splash, and then his main hi-hats. So let's look at how he has everything supported. Starting on his left-hand side, he's got his secondary crash and main crash all mounted to stands. Now his rack toms are mounted to a tom stand that has an extra clamp in the back, so he can mount his splash directly out of. His right main crash is mounted to its own stand, and then his secondary right crash is mounted to its own stand. Then he's got a ride cymbal that's mounted to its own stand, and also a china that is mounted to his own stand. So he's got a lot of stands working with here. So let's clean this up a bit. Okay, so I saw an opportunity here to clean up the floor space, to make sure everything was in the same place every single time, and to take less time to set this up. And I use this by doing a rack. So what I did was I created 2 racks that we set right next to each other to make basically 1 rack. Now, this is a custom rack that I built, but it's really not that custom. I didn't cut any bars. All it is a 46-inch curve bar on each side. The verticals are 20-inch straight bars, and there's 4 T-leg assemblies. Now, what's great about this is that since everything is just between 2 racks, you can set it on. You could set it up off stage and then bring it on stage with one other person or by yourself if you're strong enough. And then all you have to do is just place your bass drums, and you're ready to go. Okay, so starting from left to right, I have everything mounted to the crossbar. I've got my secondary left crash and my main crash mounted directly to the crossbar. Now I've got my 9707 no-leg hi-hat stand that's mounted to the crossbar as well, and I'm using the SC EA100 to connect it. My 10-inch tom is also mounted to the crossbar, and then I have my splash that's mounted to the crossbar. So now on the right half of the kit, I've got everything mounted to the rack as well. The 12-inch tom, then we have the right main crash, we have the right secondary crash, we have the ride cymbal, we have the china, and then also the auxiliary hi-hat, which I'm using the SC4425XH-MB to do that with. So the product highlights for this setup is the SC GPR46C, which is the 46-inch curve bar, the SC GPR20, which is a 20-inch straight bar, and the SC GCR QT, which is a T-leg clamp, and the SC GCS QC LT LA, that's a good one for you, which is a quick release T-clamp, T-leg assembly. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up with our own model numbers. The SC EA100, which is an extension arm with a clamp that I use to connect the no-leg hi-hat stand to the rack, and the SC4425XH-MB, which is the mini boom with the X-hat. Well, that's it for this episode of Hardware Makeover. Yann, thank you so much for submitting your kit. I loved being able to mess with it. I like messing with things. But I hope you guys had a good time. I hope I gave you guys some insight on different ways that you can construct racks. There's plenty of ways to construct racks to help out with your setup and to make your life easier. So for those of you that still want to submit, please submit at brentshang.gibraltar@gmail.com. And for those of you that have submitted, keep holding your breath because you might be next month. See you next time.
Cool. You did one of these Brent Haynes in the first series. He came into your house, didn't he? For the Madonna.
Yeah, in our backyard. You know?
Yeah.
I said, I don't feel like going anywhere.
Wow.
Like,
You come to me.
But if I remember rightly, the video starts in the daylight.
It starts in the day.
And by the end of it, it must have been a very long day.
It was a very long day. My wife was setting up for our birthday party the next day. You can see her in the background.
Yeah, it's
like,
okay. Come on, get on with it. Get those drums out.
Right. So I'm running to Brett, and then I'm running back to yes, dear, and then I'm running back. It was a crazy day.
Oh, wow.
It was fun.
Okay, well.
1 minute with.
1 minute with.
The last two, and then we'll know the winner.
Well, they're looking. Edie's looking a bit nervous. But, you know.
Well, Steve watches the show, so he kind of knows what's.
Brian's watches the show. They know what's going on. Change the questions up.
I know.
Change the questions up. Okay. Okay, let's go and have a look and see. Let's check out this 1 minute with.
All right, this is 1 minute with Brian. Are you ready, Brian?
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay, first question. Buddy or Ringo?
Buddy.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Apple or PC?
Apple.
How old were you when you started playing drums?
5.
Favorite type of food?
Japanese.
Do you play another instrument?
Keyboards.
Favorite all-time album?
Amy Grant, Straight Ahead.
What is your life ethos in one word?
My who?
Your life ethos in one word.
My life who?
Ethos, like spirit.
Oh, happy.
What are you currently listening to on your iPod?
Derek Hodge, new album.
If you were not a musician, what would you do?
I'll be a real estate broker.
Favorite holiday vacation?
Christmas, I guess.
Flight or tour bus?
Oh my God, tour bus.
Artist, dead or alive, who would you like to have played with?
Michael Jackson, that's passed, and Sting, that's still alive.
Last record you bought?
Derek Hodge.
First record you bought?
The Winans. Wow.
And that's your 1 minute with?
Good God, that is so hard. I did it.
All right, here we are. Final 1 minute with. Are you ready, Smiley?
Yeah.
Focus.
Okay.
Your favourite record performance that you played on?
Controlling Crowds by Archive.
The drummer you first saw that made you want to start?
Ringo Starr.
What other hobbies do you have apart from drumming?
Dog walking.
Favourite live venue you've played in?
The Metro in Sydney.
Favourite record you've ever... first record you bought?
Tiger Feet by Mud.
Last record you bought?
The last record I bought, Paul Weller's album.
An artist, dead or alive, who would you like to have played with?
Prince.
Flight or tour bus?
Two of us.
Your favourite all-time book?
Of Mice and Men.
What do you do to warm up before playing live?
Paradiddles.
Favourite holiday vacation?
Mexico.
What are you currently practising?
Backgammon.
If you were not a musician, what would you do?
Brain surgery.
What are you currently listening to on your iPod?
The new Archive album.
What's important to you as an artist in one word?
Family.
What's your life ethos?
Family.
A new drummer you've just gotten into?
A new drummer I just got into, it's not really new, Matt Helders I really like at the moment.
And that's your 1 minute with.
Okay, thank you.
Well done, Steve.
Oh, my pleasure. It's hard, isn't it, when you watch it back and go, really? I've never been to Mexico.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Tricky.
I don't think it's fair, though, because,
Why?
to be honest with you, the guys have seen all the other 24 guys do it. And
Well, no, we didn't do it in season 1.
No, we did it. There's been 2 people on each series. Come on,
true.
do your maths. I know you're from
Sorry.
Australia, but you
I
know.
don't like counting.
So, and I think they've been studying the questions. So you need to spice it up a little bit. You should have put like some real trick questions in there, like what colour socks. You should have asked Brian what colour socks Smiley's wearing today. Things like that. That's what you should have. That's what you should have. Or what was Mike wearing on the second show?
We could do that for next season.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Okay, anyway. Okay, come to a section called Use It or Lose It. So in this section, I want to show you a product. Okay, it's nothing to do with the brand. It's because I don't want you to get upset, and, you know, but it's the product. So in this case, I'm going to show you the Silent Stroke drum head. Okay, which is obviously for practicing purposes. So have a look. Gill will tell us a little bit about the product.
Yes, I do have. So it's a Rimu silent stroke drumhead. It's designed for low volume quiet practice and made from a durable 1-ply mesh. It's available in an 8 and 24-inch size and can also be used with electronic triggers.
Ah. Now that you've said that, you see, it's kind of, I get it now, because it's all purpose, really. It's a nice feel.
It is a nice feel.
Yeah, anything that you can practice on is a great one. I use a pad.
What, pre-show?
Yeah, pre-show, just paradiddles and stuff. And that annoys everybody.
Does it?
Because it's that's quieter than a pad.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Tappy. You end up in the corridor on the back of a flight case because you just get on everybody's nerves.
Yeah.
You have to do it, don't you, just to kind of loosen up.
What do you use pre-show, Brian?
Pre-show, I'm using True Track, just the True Track heads from Pearl. It's pretty much like a pad, same type of thing. So I'll set them up in a room like I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
Like all on the floor.
Do you have anything at home that you practice on, or you got your studio?
My full kit and the True Track kit. So
okay.
I've got one in the studio, which I kind of take out my frustrations on. Like, oh man, that's going on back.
So do you like this concept?
I do, yeah.
I know. I think both of you don't play that brand, but you know we're talking about the concept more than the brand. So
it's a nice feel.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. no, you're right. Actually, right. Yeah. And
this is really good for I think for all players.
Yeah.
You know, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, for multi purposes. I mean, to be honest, especially if you have a wife that doesn't want it.
Like drums. Yeah.
My wife loves
there is an option to that. I don't know if you know this yet, but you just get rid of the wife. you find one that does.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, nor me.
You seen my new book?
I do. I want to ask you about your new book. Is that okay?
Yes.
So you've shown up today with this amazing book called The Drum Thing.
The Drum Thing.
And it is the most... I've seen quite a few drum books appear on this table, and I've been quite impressed by like the photos of the various drummers. I want you to explain to me.
Well, I have to say,
this, weren't
I
you?
was given this book. I was sent this as a gift, and Deirdre actually credited me in the back of the book. I want to show the boys a few photos. I mean, it's Ringo.
Wow, that's a great
I don't know Deirdre. I don't know this lady, but I have to say, I've seen a lot of drum books over the years. Take a look. There's some lovely photos.
Let's just keep it on this page, shall we?
And this is a real piece of art. It really is an artistic book. It's taken her 4 years. This is a passion of hers. She actually does a lot of work for commission with the homeless, done photos of that. You can look on her website. And she sent this book over, and the quotes were amazing, but the photos, they're in their houses. Yeah. There's a lovely picture in here of Steve Gadd in his garage.
Really?
With his drums,
but it's just got like carpet on the floor.
Yeah, it's just like it shows that he's normal like the rest of us. You know, he's
Jack did that at a piano.
Oh, I know. It's just beautiful. There's a pair of blistered hands there. It's a very, very artistic and beautifully presented book.
Great.
I think you can look online, but I think it's coming in at about £35. But it's one of those books that you could actually sit. I mean, I don't know if we as drummers we do it anyway, but you could just sit and look at a picture and go, oh wow, look, he's got no shoes. Oh, what's that? He's got a Monopoly board in the back there, or it's got Dave Grohl in the book. It's got
Dave Grohl's sitting in his daughter's room in the book, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lovely presented book. So I suggest you get this. This show's going to come out before Christmas. This is a great Christmas present for drummers. If you know any drummers, this is a book to have.
And that's not a plug. It is, no.
I mean, I just love that.
We're
in the book. It's mine, by the way. It's mine. Yes. Oh, you found Steve Gadd one. I mean, look, this is great. I mean, in the back there.
Insane. Look at that. What an amazing picture.
It is, because there's just so much in the picture. It's like I said, it's a pice of art. And the comments, the words.
Amazing. You just got the one copy?
Yeah, she sent it to me. No, you missed that one. I've got the one copy. Right, okay. That's the bit you missed.
This is Deirdre, is how you pronounce it?
Deirdre.
Deirdre, yeah.
Callahan.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And if you would like to send us both a copy, now that we've
I don't know if she's going to see this, but you know, there is fights. I've got to keep an eye on that book by the looks of it.
I might just keep it here if it's all right.
Okay. Of course. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show, both of you. I think did you have a question you wanted to ask Brian, or you know?
Yeah, can I get tickets for tomorrow night? Only that my wife said, Justin Timberlake's job. Oh my goodness, you've got to get... I said, I'm not going to tap him up on a TV show.
Well, you've just done it live now. That's really... Don't answer that question. No, I don't answer that question. I have a question about that though, because if I remember rightly, a couple of years ago, when Justin, I remember seeing him on maybe the Brit Awards, and everyone was booted and suited, all dressed, and looked really, really cool. Are you doing that again? Is that a secret? No,
for this?
Yeah, for...
Actually, I'll find out today when I go to rehearsal.
Oh, well.
I'll go ahead and see Wardrobe.
I mean, it's a real show again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a full show, 2-hour show.
It's amazing that someone like, I mean, you talked about the same with Robbie and some of the guys you've worked with, how they still have got that passion. I mean, because neither of those guys, I mean, Timberlake doesn't need to be doing this. I mean, he's doing his movies, and, you know, if he says, right, you're going out on the road with a load of guys and touring, it's like, oh, Christ.
I think it's because he loves it, surely.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. When you talked about Robbie, I can see you, I can see his love for music through the way that you were talking about it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's back out on the road again next year, he announced a couple of days ago. And
I'm starstruck by him with this one.
Well, apparently, I just heard that, I think they announced it on one of the TV shows, that this album that comes out, if it goes to #1, means he's had the same amount of #1 albums as Elvis Presley. Yeah. So, and Elvis Presley's obviously in the riches as a solo male artist.
I think in years to come, when in hindsight you'll realise how big Robbie was. You know,
well, he is.
It is, well, obviously is, but I think when it goes down in the history of, you know, I think sometimes when people are still current, you don't often realise what a big presence they've had.
The thing is for me, Robbie was, I only have ever known him as Robbie Williams. I never knew him as part of Take That when I was growing up. It wasn't until like years later did I find, and I learnt about Take That I actually realised he was part of the original band. For me, he's always just been Robbie Williams. So.
But when you guys are working with any of those artists, okay, so you get the call. I mean, obviously you've done Justin before, and so you get the call and you're excited. How long does that excitement last until you're in the studio rehearsing with the guys? You're on the road. Does it last for the whole tour? Or how long does it last until you start going?
It's always there. Yeah. It's always there. Never goes.
You thought I was going to say something different.
No, I don't know. I mean,
it's the same.
It's there until, you know, the flight is not right. No.
Yeah.
No, but the excitement for me for working with these artists is there even after I'm not working with them anymore.
Right.
You know, just the memories and the energy and everything, the whole experience.
Okay. Well, we're going to come to the end, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to hopefully put it on your CV. So you're both allowed to tell me one artist that's still alive that you would like to work with, okay?
I think everyone knows mine.
Okay.
Sting.
Well, I know yours is.
Yeah.
Yes, yours is still Sting.
It's never going to change.
Really? Until you've worked with him. Okay. Sting, he watches this show. He watches it on a regular basis. So.
I can cook. I can clean, I can vacuum.
And you can get one of these as well. Okay.
Yes.
What about you?
So I feel bad because I don't want to take Abe Laboriel Jr.'s job.
You want Paul
McCartney.
But
having said that, if you want to pass it across, Paul McCartney, man. Yeah,
Paul McCartney.
Absolutely. Okay. I would do it for nothing.
Oh, whoa! We'll have to cut that bit. Well, listen.
You can say that when you know it doesn't just mean nothing.
Well, thank you so much. I think you've been great guests, haven't they, for the last show.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming along. I'm glad that we got two Pearl artists together.
Yes.
Thank you for finding some time while you're over here in the UK.
Thank you.
So that's it.
That's it.
We're over.
That's
Thanks
it.
to all the crew, especially James, who puts up with us
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
And thank you to everyone who's been on second season.
Yeah, thank you. We started in LA.
Yep, coming back here.
We will be back for season 3. If you like it, you keep watching it, spread it, we'll be back. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.